I love that you are here. My name is Corinne. I talk about all things sex, thriving in your singleness, and self love. And today we're talking about that's not your man. Stop calling him that. It's very simple. Or am I going to call this video Every Man is a Random Man Until He's Your Husband? I think that may be, that's going to be the gist of this video. I want to explain to you what I mean. So I am single. I am not married. And if anyone knows me, they know that when I say single, I could be dating three different men, and I am single because I am not married. So I've just had like peaks in times of like where I'm like, oh, I'm not really dating right now. I'm focusing on other things like family or my health or whatever that is. But when I am dating, I am always single. And I can say that proudly because what don't we do? We do not have intercourse with these men of any kind. So if I go out with Brad on Tuesday for dinner and I see Keith on Monday for lunch and I see Colin on Wednesday for brunch, all of it is fine because not only am I not just having intercourse with these men, I do not suggest that you emotionally invest yourself in a man the way women have typically been primed to emotionally invest in a man that is not their husband. What I do with the men that I date, I am kind to them. I show up in my feminine energy. And if they like have a project or an organization or like a job thing going on that's going really great, I'm going to support them in that, as in I may write them a card, I may send them a voice note, I may just be super encouraging, but I do not overly emotionally invest. And I want to explain what that is. Let's say he had a really rough day. He can call me and I can listen. That is my choice. I do not owe him that. But I would say if he had a really rough day, I would listen for a little bit. And then the thing I would say to him was, it sounds like you had a really hard day. I'm sorry to hear that. But what I've learned from you is that you are so intelligent and you're really capable. And I know that you're going to figure it out. And then I would probably end the conversation. Your emotional time, energy, and investments matter, and they mean a lot to a man. And if he wants that stable, emotional, receiving feminine energy, girl, he needs to make some decisions quick. Because you don't understand how valuable that level of emotional intelligence is until you realize that a lot of men don't have that, and a lot of men use women for that, because just women, the energy of a woman starts to create a safe space, especially if a woman is in her feminine energy. So I don't overly emotionally invest. I like some of my friends, it's just like the term to say now, but they'll say like, girl, how's your man? I don't have a man. I look down at my wedding finger, my ring finger. I say, ooh, it's empty. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have a man. I don't care how long you've been seeing him. I don't care how many dates he's taking you on. I don't care how many nice things he's bought you. I don't care. That is not your man, and so that is your husband. And I thought I was being really harsh about this until I started to really listen to the guys around me. I've always had male friends and always got along really well with men. And so I got an insider's look unto the male brain, which was really interesting yet like almost scary because to find out the way that men really think was interesting, shocking, and appalling all at the same time. So I'm going to tell you a little story that kind of recently happened to me. Is I met this guy. I think that he's a good guy, and he showed some interest in me, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then it came out, or not came out, he just openly told me I have a girlfriend. And I'm like, okay, thank you for telling me that. I really appreciate that. Like, that's helpful information. And yet, he would text me, he would call me, he would do things, and I'm like, okay, do you not have a girlfriend? So we had like a little talk about it, and like I said, I really do appreciate his company, but I said, I explained to him my position and how I feel about boyfriend and girlfriend, and then he explained me his position. I was like, oh my God. He said to me, I said, yeah, so just the way about girlfriend and boyfriend, like I don't really rock with it, but I do think that if you have made a commitment to somebody and you have out of your mouth said, we are committed to someone, I'm going to respect that because that's your word. And he told me, my thing is, like, I was just raised that basically single until married. I was raised that, like a girlfriend isn't a wife and you single until you married. And that's when I was like, oh my God, I'm not being too harsh. Sometimes I just think I'm being too harsh, and then speaking to a man who was being honest really just hits me, and it's like, no, you're not being too harsh. A lot of men do not see girlfriend does not equate wife. And I know that is very hard for a lot of women to hear. But I need for you to ask a man who you trust. Really ask him. Tell him, say, I don't know. I'm really confused. I'm dating. I'm really confused. I'm scared and I'm nervous and I need help. Use those words exactly. Because we want to trigger some like protection in him. And say, I really need your help. I'm scared and I'm confused. And then give him the problem of, I keep hearing this thing about being a girlfriend and all this kind of stuff. What do you think? And if it's a man who loves you, and tell him, I can hear the truth. I would really appreciate knowing the truth. It would help me feel so safe. And 9 times out of 10, he's going to tell you, yeah, girlfriend does not mean wife. And y'all, this is not something that I came up with. This is not something that I wish it weren't true. You know what I mean? Like, I wish it weren't true. But if you really sit down and you talk to a man who loves you and cares about you, and not a man who's trying to run game on you, not a man who has the potential to sleep with you, because I also need you to know that there are men who you may ask unassumingly who still have like an avenue maybe to sleep with you or for you to be their girlfriend, and they will not tell you the truth. You need to ask a man who loves you, who has no romantic interest in you, more like preferably a family member, somebody who will tell you the truth. Someone who will tell you the truth. A similar thing happened. I was with, a man I respected, and he was like, hey, Corinne, like, do you have a boyfriend? And I said, I have nice men who take me on dates. He was like, yeah, but do you have a boyfriend? I said, I have nice men who take me on dates. And he started laughing. And I said, yeah, just until I get married, I just, I don't really want a boyfriend. He started laughing, and he said, you were raised right. Shocked me. And then kind of didn't shock me because I've been knowing this for a long time at this point. But this video is not about girlfriend and boyfriend, so let me get back to what it's really about. This video is about demote him, okay, until he promotes himself to husband. So when I say demote, don't think about a future with this man. Because it crushes my heart to see young women in general, like a puppy waiting for its owner to come home, wagging their tails, waiting for this man to propose to them, waiting for this man to claim them, yet he is using them in every other area: body, soul, mind, feminine energy, emotional intelligence. He gets all of it. And she doesn't get what she wants, as in a husband, as in financial provision, as in protection, as in like the spiritual communal claiming. So when I say demote him, I'm not telling you to be mean to a man. I quite literally mean just demote him. I do things like I say, oh yeah, that man. And they're like, girl, but you've been dating him. Yeah, but that man, like, because as women, we are so wired for relationships. Like, it is our domain. We love it. We do relationships very well. It's like our currency. We do relationships very well. And what we have been taught, and there's nothing wrong with that, because marriage is beautiful and partnership is beautiful. But what we have been taught is to put all partners in that space, when the emotional energy you have been given to these boyfriends should have been reserved for your husband. And that's why you feel depleted, because it's like, okay, all my emotional energy is gone. I spent 3 years with this man. I gave him my body. I gave him my mind. I gave him my soul. I gave him my time. I gave him my attention. I gave him my love. I gave him my tenderness. And he still left me. And that was never meant to be. It was really never meant to leave you, because in like the unit of a marriage, it's just meant to be secular. Like, you guys are just like building each other up continuously forever and ever. Amen. So it wasn't meant to be like that. So when you experience multiple breakups, whether it be boyfriend, girlfriend, whether it be situationships, whether it be, just non-existent stuff that some women made up in their head, because unfortunately, some women make things up in their head, it takes a toll on you as a woman. And so as you're dating, especially as you are rotational dating and you are not having sex with men, because we don't do that over here around these parts, that you demote him until he promotes himself to husband. You don't give him a ton of emotional energy. You don't give him a ton of space to occupy your thoughts. You don't give him, that dream, like, you don't put him in the dream of your wedding. You just don't do it, because the mind is so powerful. You have to demote him. Say things like, that man, he's a nice man. We'll see. Like, those are my very common phrases when I date. We'll see. Like, oh, he's so nice. He does this for you. He does that for you. Like, yeah, we'll see where this goes. Because as a woman, you have to date logically, because we give so much emotionally. We give so much of our body. We give so much of our life force energy. Married men statistically live longer, okay? And they make more money. We are literally building these men up with our energy. So because we give so much on the back end, like, once you get a woman, oh my gosh, and you treat her well and you get that feminine energy, a man will thrive. A man will thrive. But in order for us to get there, we have to start putting up logical boundaries, because you cannot give that level of time, energy, and attention to a random man, to situationships, to a man who's your boyfriend for 3 years, and then decide, this isn't what he wants to do, and then be heartbroken, and then expect to have enough for, your real person, the man who was like, I love you enough to claim you, to provide for you, to protect you, to die for you, to do all of those things that women want to hear and need to know. So yeah, demote him. You do not know that man. He is a random man. I don't care how many gifts he's gotten you. I don't care how long it's been. And not some people, typically women are the ones who are like, this is very harsh. But honestly, I say this all the time. Men are some of my biggest supporters. And men are saying, Corinne, my cousin needs to hear you. I sent her this video. My sister needs to hear you. I sent her your videos. Women need to hear this. And also, men want to work for the woman they want. They want to have some type of something, right? Like, I had to work for her. And then it's going to be like this beautiful story he gets to tell. Oh, your grandma didn't want me and I pursued her and all this kind of stuff. I have, let me change names. I know this couple who she did not want him at first. She was like, ew, no, thank you, don't want it, like, wasn't interested. And now they have 2 beautiful children and they've been married for 10 years. And when he tells the story, he just lights up because he's like, I wanted my wife and I got my wife. Like, I got her. I wanted her. I got her. It's done. You in my house. You looking at my kids. And it's just the sweetest, most beautiful gift I think she could have gave to him, because he lights up when he tells that story. Allow for him to use his testosterone, to use his masculine energy to show you who he is and who he can be for you. Not tell you out of his mouth, because that's a lot of talk. It's a lot of word salad. To show you with his actions, with his consistency. Until then, until that man drops on his knee, don't put him in future plans. Don't put him in vacations. Don't put him in weddings. Like, don't put him in raising kids together. Like, literally, you have to close that part of yourself off to him. You have to, as a woman, you have to think logically as a woman. We have so much more at stake than men do going into relationships. Typically. Now, to be fair, men who really love their women, it's frightening for them because they feel like, oh my God, I would die for this woman. And that is a heavy and a high price to pay. And most men do not have to die for their families. But most women will have to have children, right? Most women will have to use her emotional energy and intelligence to support her husband through hard times. Most women will give her life force energy to her husband through sex. So we play very different roles and very different parts, and I'm not minimizing the role of men, but I'm telling you, a man who is not your husband, a man who is not your fiance, downgrade him in your mind until he upgrades or promotes himself to husband or fiance. It will save you time, tears, heartache, trouble, pain. Because if that is your person and that's the person you're going to marry, the person who's going to be your fiance or whatever, then it will happen. And then you can have all the beautiful thoughts. You can think of the wedding bells. You can think of the baby names, the house you're going to live in, all these beautiful things. But until then, that is a random man. When you date, give him some, not all, God, not all, some of your feminine energy, some of your emotional intelligence. Allow him to use that. Feel good about himself at work. Feel good about himself when he walks out in public with you. He's bragging, to his friends about you. I have this beautiful woman. She's so kind. She's so thoughtful. She makes me light up. She makes me feel like I can take on the world. Whatever it is, give him all of that yummy, juicy, good stuff. But downgrade him in your mind until he upgrades himself to your husband or your fiance. I'm telling you, I'm saving you years and years and years of heartache and pain. Because we are not built to do this, to give and give and give and give and give emotionally the way we have been giving and giving and giving and giving to these random men and these boyfriends. I also want to say, do marriages end in divorce? Yes. So I'm not saying that marriage is the foolproof, safe way. And I also don't, condone getting married just to get married. At all. I don't condone that at all. But you really do have to think about how you can date logically, so that way when you find your person, you can be the most heart-open, loving, kind, caring, generous, nurturing woman and version of yourself you've ever experienced. You need safety for that. And the highest level of safety for a woman is marriage with a safe man. If that is your desire, if you desire to be single, then go ahead and get you some safe men who can be in your community. But if you're desiring partnership, the highest level of safety is marriage with a safe man. There is no way around it. And then saying that, oh, Corinne, no, like there's so many limiting beliefs that women have around doing this because they think if I don't give all of myself to him, then he won't want me. But it's like, think about a woman who you know who has given her all to a man, then see if they married, and then say, does giving my all equal marriage? No. Even men will tell you, men do not want you to sacrifice yourself for them. It's not sexy, it's not attractive. They'll take it, but it's not what they really want. Men love women. It's a book called Men Love B Words. I'm not going to say it because they may flag me. But Men Love B Words. And in essence, men love women who are themselves and who have standards and who uphold them. Men love it. Because it's like, wow, look at someone who is like big and bold enough to say no or to say yes to something that she really wants. Men love that. Men don't choose women off of how much they give to them. Men choose women off of how the woman make them feel, who she is to him. I just heard that. I think it was off a Hardly Initiated podcast. I think. Shout out to Hardly Initiated. But that is, I think it was Hardly Initiated, but I don't know who said it. But that, and I was like, oh my God, yes, that. And there are so many other people who specialize in male psychology who will tell you this. So please listen. Downgrade him. Every man you date, every man you see, remember, we're not having sex with these men. Every man is a man off the street, is a random man. Your phrases are, we'll see how this goes. I don't know, we'll see. I see a nice man who takes me on dates. Everything's going okay for now. I like him. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I have nice men who take me on dates. And that's it. That is it. That is all. That's not your man. That's not your husband. That's not your boo. That's not your baby. We're not wired for that as women. We cannot hold that kind of space as a woman because there's so much depth to our love. We cannot hold that kind of space for a man and then hold ourselves together when he or we decide that it's not a good fit and we end that relationship or that situationship. We crumble because we have given this person that much space, and now we're like, okay, I gave so much. Who's going to occupy this space? And then he takes some stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, he took some stuff from my space. Like, there's just so much. So yes, downgrade him until he upgrades himself to husband or fiance. And the beautiful thing about this is he has autonomy in this. He gets to upgrade himself. You're not forcing him to do anything. He gets to make that choice and that decision for himself. He is a strong, capable, wonderful, powerful, talented man. He gets to make the choice. He gets to make the choice. You don't have to hoodwink him into loving you. Bamboozle him into loving you. He either will or he will not. And that's why you keep it pushing and you keep it moving and you see multiple men and you don't close off your options. And we'll see. We don't have the emotional capacity in the emotional space to deal with heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak and come out unscathed. So for your well-being, for the love of yourself, for the integrity of who you are as a woman, to keep your feminine energy intact, to keep your health intact, your mind intact, your body intact, downgrade him until he promotes himself. And watch your life flourish. There are some things that I'm not qualified to talk about, but I'm very qualified to talk about this. I live a beautiful life. I live a wonderful life. I have dated great men. And mind you, all of them were not my husband. You know what I mean? So getting used to having good, great men in your space and then being like, okay, that was not the husband, but we're building positive dating experiences. Okay, that wasn't my husband. All right, that's not my fiance. Okay, We're not meant to be together. Okay, our values don't align. Okay, he doesn't believe this and I believe that, so it won't work. But you can do that in a logical, rational way. So I have dated good/great men. Some of them are in different categories. And I haven't listened to a breakup song. And I have not listened to and cried in a breakup song. It has to be at least 3 or 4 years, maybe more, to have listened to and like boo-hoo, like, oh my God, where is he? I miss him so much. In 3 or 4 years, I can happily report to you that I've been to breakup land. I don't want to go back. Demote these men. Save yourself a lot of emotional energy, a lot of emotional intelligence. And when you meet your husband, you can give him all the goodness, girl. Like, your husband can just overflow with the love you have to give. Overflow. Build him up. Build your husband up so he can build y'all more stuff. You know what I mean? Like, use it to where it benefits you and not to where it can leave you so easily. Make downgrading him your insurance policy. You're like, okay, insurance. If I give him all my emotional intelligence, then that's just that on that, right? Like, I don't know how that's going to go. I give him all my feminine energy. He could leave me tomorrow. So it's a little insurance policy, a big insurance policy actually, but to only give that to your husband. Save yourself heartache and pain. Downgrade that man until he proposes, or marriage, until he upgrades you and upgrades himself to husband. It's just really that simple. Thank you all so much for listening. I'm so grateful for all my new listeners and my new subscribers. The links to all my courses are live. Sex is Your Superpower is live. That course is about taking your sexual power back, explaining a woman's sexual power. It's a lot of meditations and journaling and videos, and you have access to me throughout the duration of that course to where you can ask any questions. By the end of the course, most women have committed to becoming sexually selective, and it makes me so happy. There is also one-on-one coaching in there, which I love, because a lot of people have questions and they feel like, Corinne, I don't know really where to start. And that's really where one-on-one coaching starts with, is I get you together real quick. We start to become sexually selective. We have a plan to, love on ourselves, to enjoy our singleness, to date really great guys. I've dated really great guys, but like I said, every man is not your husband. So how to date and create positive dating experiences and not over-invest, right? So you can build yourself up from dating instead of feeling so depleted from dating, and enjoy your single dating life until you decide, that you want to get married and you want to settle down. So those courses are in the description box. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Let me know if you like it, what kind of content you want to hear more of. I've been doing a lot more content about like sex, specifically sex, because that's the stuff that's really been getting a lot of feedback and people say that they love. But I also talk about thriving in your singleness and self-love. So let me know if you want to hear maybe a little bit more content on that, or maybe all three together. I would love to be able to tailor my content to what you all want to hear from me. All right, I will catch you in the next one. And if you book a coaching session, I am so excited to see you, and I will see you in that container, the Sex is Your Superpower container. All right, talk to y'all later. Bye.